Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today I wanted to talk about some potential missions in the future, the pyro system, NPC Fleet Battles that all might be coming in 2020. This video will contain spoilers for what the audio messages and hacked transmissions that we could hear from Alpha 3.7 were just before CitizenCon 2019 and all the rumours surrounding that. So if you don't want to sort of know what might be coming in the future, then tune out now because this will contain spoilers. Watch one of my other videos instead. Boom! XENOTHREAT. Cloud Imperium have been working on larger scale ship missions over the last few quarters. We have seen this with the 890 Jump Assault mission, the Arlington Gang Idris mission, which has now been moved to 4.0, and Cloud Imperium have been working on more of these types of mission in the background, as well as lots of other types of mission. Some might never see the light of backer testing, some are just for R&D, and some are going to be awesome experiences once they're released into the game. In the recent Star Citizen Live, the story behind the universe, the narrative team mentioned the garbled audio clips from Star Citizen Alpha 3.7 that you could hear around the Stanton system in places like Port Olisar, the ship's spawning terminal hub there, and we have previously covered that audio on another video, cleaning up the garbled messages, and Chief Monkey, the fantastic audio grabber of Star Citizen music as well as audio, had sifted through a huge amount of files and data since then and has actually put together some additional audio snippets which he's been able to mine from there, which confirmed some of the rumours and tidbits that I heard at CitizenCon, as well as go away to expand on the original audio and what is going on with these missions.
Attention, people of Stanton. A great injustice has been done to you. For decades, the spineless bureaucrats of your government have been selling you and your fellow citizens piece by piece to the alien scum outside our borders and to their corporate masters within. Their greed, only matched by the absolute disregard for the values that made humanity great in the first place. My brothers and sisters have watched them feed on the dying carcass of the Empire for long enough. With the passage of the Human Xi'an Trade Initiative, it's clear that the government is happy to sell the final parts of humanity into servitude. The time has come to send a message that we will not consume their lies anymore, that we are the ones in charge. Stanton will be the first step in a revolution to take back the soul of the Empire. You will be witnesses. We are XENOTHREAT. Out.
So that was more of the original audio, cleaned up, but there's some more stuff with an outlaw group called XENOTHREAT.
People of Stanton, congratulations. The fact that you would eagerly kill your brothers and sisters to protect the pockets of corrupt officials has only proven how deep the sickness of greed has infected humanity.
At least in lore, they reside in the pyro system, and they are a sort of militant, heavy, anti-alien faction. They see Xi'an exerting too much influence in the UE and the humans, and they sort of want human unification, purification, and segregation from the other alien races, seeing them as a threat to human lives and prosperity. What does that mean in terms of gameplay content that we might see though? Well, it does appear that they want to have XENOTHREAT missions in the Stanton system, with XENOTHREAT occasionally having armed incursions from, in game terms, pyro, but that's going to be dependent on whether we have the jump point to pyro or not, and they don't need that jump point to have these missions in there. It was rumoured that this was one of the things that they wanted to show at CitizenCon 2019, but it wasn't ready in time, though rather than being a specific goal for CitizenCon, it just happens that it was being worked on at the same time, and it would have been nice to be able to show it. As I understand it, they have bits that they want to show at CitizenCons, and then they have extra bits that they will try and tack on, or they don't sort of like make in time, and it's great to have them, but if they're not ready, they're not ready, and this was something that wasn't ready. The audio suggests that there is a mission chain from Special Agent Rowena Dooley of the Advocacy forming a civil defense force and then allowing access to larger fleet battles that can occur against a XENOTHREAT.
This is Special Agent in Charge Rowena Dooley of the Advocacy. We've received reliable intelligence from credible sources that an armed incursion of the outlaw group known as XENOTHREAT is threatening the Stanton system. While we recommend that all civilians use extreme caution while traveling through the system, the UEE and Advocacy are currently looking for any volunteers to consider joining the Civilian Defense Force to strengthen an armed response to this threat. Please consult local contract brokers to sign up. Thank you and fly safe. This is Special Agent in Charge Rowena Dooley of the Advocacy. We've received reliable intelligence from credible sources that an armed incursion of the outlaw group known as XENOTHREAT is threatening the Stanton system. While we recommend that all civilians use extreme caution while traveling through the system, the UEE and Advocacy are currently looking for any volunteers to consider joining the Civilian Defense Force to strengthen an armed response to this threat. Please consult local contract brokers to sign up. Thank you and fly safe.
It looks like the missions will be mostly patrol and destroy from the player point of view and for lawful players, but there are also a few more interesting things going on as well, and it could be that they want to do fully fledged incursions eventually, which would have XENOTHREAT coming from the pyro jump point, at least when we have the Quanta system and the pyro jump point, and then moving around the Stanton system, or turning up basically for limited times in certain areas around the Stanton system, and there would be different hotspots forming near major locations like Crusader, like ArcCorp, like Microtech.
This is the UEE Advocacy. A large hostile force has been identified near the Stanton Pyro jump point. Please avoid this area for your own safety.
During these times, there may be major fleet battles where you and anyone else that wants to join that's lawful at that time and has access to the mission might also be able to join as well. So you might be able to take on an Idris that has a load of escorts, sort of like a proper fleet, or a fleet of a different makeup. But the idea looks to me like they want to have this sort of like Idris and fleet battle missions that anyone can join as long as you meet the requirements. Just sort of like as the mission's ongoing. So I really like that idea. Something that I thought was really interesting is they could potentially use stuff like this as well to artificially blockade landing zones and to help restrict players in an area or try and get them to move off to another area, stuff like that. So I think it's some quite interesting things. It's also going to really affect risk and reward of other types of mission and even cargo transport through hot zones, and potentially when we start to have, well, if XENOTHREAT are attacking the system, then you're much more likely to get sort of like taken out of quantum by a XENOTHREAT force, which could potentially attack you, and I really like this idea. One of the other things the audio files mentioned was loot rewards, which was implied to be like some form of a wearable, like a suit of armor or clothing or a helmet, as well as free ship restocks, refuels, repairs, and discounts at nearby shops, but not just Alpha UEC rewards. So more of different types of reward, something that obviously we want to see for missions, lots of different types of reward, not just monetary ones.
One more thing, I've coordinated with local repair shops to patch and restock you if you get banged up, free of charge, courtesy of the UEE.
So when might we see this mission? Well, the mission set does not necessarily need Pyro or the Pyro jump point to be implemented. It can just be an event that appears. Expect introductory missions for this as well, with the Civil Defense Force and Agent Dooley asking you to do patrols and searches in areas that can be done at any time, not just when there's some sort of big incursion. Cloud Imperium are working on getting an Idris in the game for 4.0. These large missions will appear when they are stable and ready. There's lots of moving pieces for this sort of stuff because they need them to not kill server frame rates and stuff like that. Lots of moving pieces. So anytime from 4.0 onwards, it looks like we'll have the Idris in game with the Arlington gang mission. At least that's the plan. And then we might start to see things like this as well with XENOTHREAT.
I don't know what happened, but I need to clear your spot for someone who's going to get involved. If you change your mind, the CDF could still use your help. Hey, looks like you pissed them off good. Just heard that a XENOTHREAT Idris was sighted. Head over and take them out.
I really like the idea of large-scale battles that require large parts of the server to work together to take down, but don't require you to form a party before starting. And that's sort of what they are implying with this, from what I can tell. You kind of just join one of the incursions, one of the big fleet raid battles as it's ongoing as part of the civil defense group, and then sort of jump into the chat for the duration of that encounter, sort of thing. You might remember as well that people thought that Port Olisar was going to be destroyed and then replaced. That was partly due to those original audio messages. It was also, though, because Cloud Imperium have said that Port Olisar will eventually be replaced by one of the new modular space stations, and we have CIG currently working towards cargo and refinery decks, as well as docking planned for 4.1, which will really expand out the functionality of these space stations, and that could be the time we very much possibly see Port Olisar replaced. Cloud Imperium might have a video or do something for the destruction of Port Olisar, but it's more likely that it's just going to be replaced, and it was just a rumor that it was going to get exploded. But I hope I'm wrong with that. I hope we do see Port Olisar go down in a beautiful blaze of glory. Some of the other mission and interaction tests that I was able to get some information about when I was at CitizenCon were things like they were testing logic puzzles where you had to track down a faulty AI and work out if it was lying. It's nice to know that CIG are working on things like that in the background, and I hope to see lots of varied missions in the future. Multi-part ones that can be solved in lots of different ways, big server-wide fleet raids as well. I really like the idea of getting the CitizenCon 2019 mission into the game. That sort of like had a part of the mission that wasn't shown at the beginning, where you had to get a security key and a uniform before infiltrating the research facility there. So I like the idea that you need certain items to be able to do missions in certain ways. And it's sort of a step towards sort of content for the more modular and varied mission system in the future as well. But what do you think? Are you excited by XENOTHREAT, a new faction in the game, and lots of new NPC scary ships and potentially larger scale missions against Idrises and or fleets? Do you think that they will wait until Pyro is out before releasing these missions, or do you think it might be a long time before we see them? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. For April, we are giving away a Cutlass Black and Star Citizen game package. Just comment on any of my videos made during this month of April to be in for a chance of winning that. I am a shill for a couple of companies, NordVPN and NordPass. If you are looking for a VPN or a password management system, I recommend you check them out. They've got many benefits over free services, and as I'm pretty security conscious, I love those kind of services. Also, there's Shadow. If you are thinking about getting a new gaming rig or upgrading your gaming PC for Star Citizen or whatever, then consider Shadow instead. It is a internet cloud-based subscription service like Stadia, like GeForce Now, but this one gives you access to a full Windows 10 environment which is fully customizable, and that is significantly better in my opinion, allowing you to do a lot more with it. Check out the links below for them, or use the code BoredGamer for discount. Also, if you wish to support the channel further, there is Patreon, there's the YouTube join member button down below. That really helps. This is a community supported channel, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the support that I get. If you want to share these videos, if you want to comment, give feedback, whatever, that is also hugely appreciated. Thanks very much for watching, guys. You take care, and I'll see you in the verse.